So I have a lot of pre-recorded things. So moving forward, I'm actually going to listen to the pre-recorded and try to put something together in linear order. That's the struggle because I'm working on these skills, and eventually I'm going to have to just share what level I'm at as I learn the words, because I had to expose myself to some of the worst behaviors just to relive it. Great. Yeah, it's not safe, but thankfully, I was able to do it in your name tag goes just two, because I'm not telling you my name. Big shout out to Jack. Get Smarty MC created because of all the kids calling themselves. Oh wait, no, the teachers calling them obnoxious behavior, implying they're stupid. Can we not talk about what you think about teachers do to students as I get rid of more media? Sure. This will be podcast number 6. I'm doing 5 now. Thank you. Mistakes help us awake to which avenues to take. I remember it. That's England. That's when all the good stuff happens.
The strategy that I'm going to show you is literally using iPhone because it has the largest quantity for unlimited writing space. I've seen movies on here that are over 2 hours, and that's way better than the limited spaces to write in online. Everything has a maximum capacity.
With trauma, you
need a space that's not just safe for you to write in, express yourself in, post in, whatever it may be, but also a place that just goes on and on and on. Because the quantity of trauma is about, 300 million times more than anyone would ever expect. And why I know I'm not working one-on-one individualized with individuals. I'm not working one-on-one. What I'm going to do is I have it because I didn't want to lose my thought. I had to learn to do that, so I have to unlearn it. I don't need it anymore. But I was getting ready for all these very intense strategies.
When you are growing up, when you are a little kid, a sociopath is somebody who has a fundamental inability to relate to themselves. When you are growing up, when you are a little kid, you learn how to identify emotions in part because you see other people and you recognize those emotions in yourself to relate to themselves. You see other people and you recognize those emotions in yourself. You begin to develop an ability to understand what it feels like to feel happy and sad. And then you can recognize that in others so that when you see somebody in distress, you have an empathic response, meaning you feel bad by seeing somebody who feels bad.
So sociopath doesn't feel empathy?
A sociopath does not feel empathy. That's the shallow end of the spectrum of sociopathy.
It only takes so much because I said no. The rest comes out in flow.
Is toward callousness. There's a spectrum of lack of empathy toward callousness. Is somebody who cannot identify with another person's feelings. And they also can't identify with their own feelings, but they can't make a distinction between things that to a regular person seem perfectly. Murder is worse than stealing, is worse than...
It's a sensation seeing that dragging and chasing on. I can't find that rush, that sensation, that release of anger I felt that first time.
So there was a release of anger?
Oh, without a doubt. It's like busted a piece of glass and there's just little shivers all up in there.
The release of this anger, which occurred through violent means.
American society, but that we're taught very little about, that we're often taught is marginal to the American story. And we wanted to do something different. We wanted to use the platform of the times to force us to confront the reality of what slavery has meant for our development as a nation.
This is where I typically stand and talk about trauma, but today I have a very important announcement. I understand 100% how to end that acute rising dread and anticipation that it will never end, which is the basis for suicidal thoughts that I trace back to the origin with Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago. You have to be able to identify and describe the trigger, which is what I learned in CBT and DBT. The problem with the facilitators is that they didn't have a second step. Already understanding the needs of their clients because they talked to me and I said to them, yeah, I'll listen. And I said to them, yeah, I'll listen. And I'm really horrified to I validate your experience because I was in the same class as you were, and I will assist you, period. I've been doing advocacy for a long time. Being a special educator, 12 years experience in Chicago public schools, being someone who has always been able to goal plan, meet those goals, or adapt the goal. Knowing the information I'm getting is forcing me to look at things differently. It's very clear what the difference between pre-violence, discrimination, stigma, assaults, injury, etc. I've been doing advocacy for a long time. Well, it is a lot different for these reasons. The journey for the past 8 years truly has been one of recognizing all the abuses of power that exist. The first step was to be able to talk within a certain amount of time. Twitter is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Instagram is 1 minute. There's unlimited space called Periscope, which is going away soon. I have to remember all these times knowing that the numbers are triggering because of the doctor appointments, the incident reports, money issue of my ex talking about how much money he's saving as he's threatening my life and the life of my cat, the numbers with time disappearing, etc., etc. Oh, and the annual date of violence, April 5th, when I was in this whack. Let's just say technology has helped me rewire my brain after violence. Save because it's audio. Audio. 1, 2.
Murder is worse than stealing, is worse than...
It's a sensation. I think dragging up, chasing one.
Things in life
Rush. That sensation.
make you mad. Other things just make you swear and curse. When you're chewing on life's gristle, don't grumble, give a whistle. And this'll help things turn out for the best. Hey, always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life.
To talk about babies. So I guess
If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you forgot. And that's to laugh and smile and dance and sing. When you're feeling in the dumps, don't be silly chumps. Just purse your lips and whistle, that's the thing. Hey, always look on the bright side.
Kelsey in a black plastic tote. Calls
Your plans can change in minutes.
clean up.
Investigators say Kenny admitted watching crazy burn Barrett's remains outside his home.
I think he's a very dangerous person.
People didn't let him talk. So my thing was, okay, well, I can let you talk.
Always look on the bright side of life. For life is quite
Tampering with evidence in the case but has denied any involvement.
You must always face the curtain with a bow. Forget about your seat, give the audience a grin. Enjoy it, it's your last chance anyhow. So always look on the bright side of death. Just before you draw your terminal breath. Life's a piece of shit. Life. But man, you know what they say? Some things...
Know that there's something deep inside that helps us become what we can.
We must be careful to listen.
Hey, come with me to a land of fantasy. I created it to get through tragedy. Not that long ago, and not that far away. These games that people play, and I'm ready to convey all the words I want to say. Absolute corruption leads to our destruction. All these interruptions keep us from construction. Stick to me like glue. And then there will be no boo-hoos. Absolutely no boo-hoos. Pay attention to the next 2 scenes because you're gonna notice contrast. And this contrast is going to create a feeling of discord. Now, this feeling of discord is the indicator to your brain that your body has let you know, something's awry. No boo-hoos, because in one case there was tears, and in another case there was, well, nothing. Well, it finally happened. I'm getting through my house and I will be writing sentences, paragraphs very soon because I got through touch. In order to understand this project, I'm not sure if you have to connect in all of these sites. I'm getting through my house. You have to participate, which means you publicly comment and ask your questions soon because I got through touch with the realization. In order to understand this project, I'm not sure if you have to connect in all of these sites, a process you have to participate in order to model exactly what I've been doing because it's impossible with the realization to really understand that as a writer, the purpose of my writing is to replicate a process one time in order to model exactly what I've been doing because it's impossible to really understand it unless you are going through it and unless you see it and you hear it. That's what I've been doing with all these digital sites containing their PTSD, which is their pictures, touches, sounds disordered, because their reality doesn't match my reality, and my reality is truth because of the fact that I had to justify every decision I made in writing in a document called an IEP, an Individualized Education Plan, which is a legal document to protect a vulnerable population we know as kids with special needs. Each state has a different age, biological age, where that child loses services. And so there's some policies that I'd like to change. The first being that unless the school actually teaches to independence, we take care of that child for the rest of their life in terms of supporting them with their educational goals towards independence, okay? Also, too much money is wasted on the marketing and the imagery of a school and not the actual substance, again, based on my experience. So how does a school get all this money? Well, each child is worth moolah. And the point of that is to say you need a certain amount of money to teach that child. But the reality is you don't need much money. You just need desire and knowledge of education, consistency in routines, expectations that are lofty but achievable and measurable so that you can collect that data and make your choices according to what's happening, not whatever's easiest and not in order to remove your own frustration. All right, it's been a long time, but I want to let you know that this is the moment that I'm literally drawing the line from PTSD containment and voice samples, pictures, as a way to just remember what was happening in the moment, because I keep coming across things that absolutely remind me of what was going on then. Anyway, again, please comment publicly if you have any questions about this, and I'll be linking up the other sites that I'll be utilizing to tell the story. I'm going to do my poetry on 2 multimedia sites, which I will share at one point once I get it set up. And just know any donations to the site can be done through Patreon, which will have an option to support my not-for-profit SmarterThanTrauma, or me individually as a creator. I don't know how exactly to do that, but I'm working on it. All right, gotta take my vitamins. Take care, everyone. Good night.
Both birds found 4 different solutions to the puzzle, showing they're able to think flexibly. The ability to think flexibly is certainly a hallmark of a cognitively advanced animal. So rather than having the set response to a stimulus every time, as Lorenz worked upon, now you've got a whole battery of responses that could be put into play. And now it's a mental task to sort among which ones are best for a given situation. A bird's environment can encourage flexible thinking. Like humans, birds seem to learn new things by playing.
The great thing about Kias is that they're very playful and curious. They are not only interested in new things, but also quite daring. They have a notorious urge to explore everything they see, and they want to play and explore the physical effects and consequences of their actions.
Researchers noticed that Kia parrots often try to put one object inside another. So they give them a related challenge, a selection of tubes fixed to the floor. The younger birds are fascinated, trying to put the toys into the tubes. There's no food reward, just curiosity. And they seem to get better at learning which toys fit which tubes. Can they take this new knowledge and apply it in a different situation? A peanut stuck in a tube is a new problem to solve. The younger birds approach it first. This one studies the problem from all angles. She picks up a block, but seems to know that it's too big. She then selects the one block that fits the tube. Only the birds that played with the tubes and toys can solve this on their own.
The ability to learn skills in one context and transfer them to another context is another thing that allows researchers to infer that this is a conscious process going on, that these are not just instinctive behaviors, that they're learning new things and that they're able to transfer this knowledge.
This is a similar challenge. The reward is in plain sight, but the tube is too long and the food can't be reached. The catch can be released by dropping a stone onto it. To do that, Webb is going to have to figure out how the catch works.
Maybe this was the life.
The researchers replaced
Lost
the
a
long
huge talent
tube with a shorter one.
Much too soon.
Now,
Comedian
Webb
Chris
can
Farley
reach the
died today
catch.
in Chicago.
And she quickly learns how to open it with her beak.
Never let me forget that my work
When
is
the
to cheer
crow
people,
experiences
make them
the short
happy,
tube,
and make
they
them
can
laugh.
release the food through their normal process, peck on something. That's what
Never
crows
let me
typically
acquire
do,
success
bite or peck
to the
or
point where I
probe
discontinue
with their
calling
beaks.
on my creator
So they learn the relationship to get food
in the hour of need,
lever
and
needs to be
acknowledging him and
tripped.
thanking him in the hour of plenty.
But once she's learned how the catch works, can she figure out how to release it when she can't use her beak?
And in my final moment, may I hear you whisper, when you made my people smile.
Weck realizes that she can release the catch by dropping the stone on it. And using a stone to get food in this way is not something a crow would normally do in the wild.
The fact that the crow is able to take a stone and move the same object that that bird had previously moved with its bill implies that the crow is thinking ahead and visualizing the action that dropping the stone will result in the same movement that its bill did.
I wasn't shocked.
Using an unfamiliar tool to get food is a demanding mental task, even for New Caledonian crows. At the Max Planck Institute in Germany, the researcher sets up a puzzle to see if a crow can understand how to get a reward by pulling on a hook.
You know, on the linoleum floor, it was not what
Two hooks
we wanted
are
for him,
covered by a
what he wanted
plastic
for
sheet.
himself.
Only one of them contains a small white container with food. This crow seems to get it right away. But was it a lucky guess? Or was she using knowledge that comes from her natural environment? New Caledonian crows are the only species of bird that's been observed to use hook tools in the wild. They use the stems of pandanus plants to make kind of like jigsaw-bladed fish hook sorts of tools. They'll shove that down a hole and a grub will either grab onto it or they'll actually skewer the grub. They make hooks that turn to the left or to the right. They use them appropriately.
What's interesting here is that it seems they're able to bring this skill that they use in the wild normally into a lab setting that's completely unlike the environment that they normally use it in, to a hook that isn't one that they've made themselves, that in fact looks nothing like the hooks they make themselves, but is still hook shaped, and they clearly understand the repercussions of that hook shape.
Crows are not only good at solving problems, they're also good at negotiating complex sets of relationships because they live in large groups. Many scientists believe that forming social relationships within big groups helps drive the intelligence of animals like chimps and dolphins. Can this also be true for birds?
Living in a social group is hard. You have to remember alliances, you have to remember friendships. And so there's a hypothesis, the social intelligence hypothesis, that proposes that the selective pressures of living in these groups, of having to meet all these challenges, has favored the evolution of a brain that can do more complex cognitive processing.
But what happens in birds' social groups? Do they learn from each other? Valérie Dufour used to study great apes. Now she applies some of the same methods to studying rooks, who are members of the crow family. She watches how they interact with each other and analyzes the results. Valérie found a social network as complex as those seen in groups of monkeys and other primates, with a clear structure and close friendships. But how does this social structure relate to intelligence? Valérie puts a group of rooks to a test she's used with primates.
This box is a little setup that's created to see whether birds can learn from watching each other. Okay, so there's two ways to open that box. You can either pull on the little rope there, and in that case, just lift the ball and they can pick up the reward that's in there. Or you can just simply push on that box, and in that case, you just need to put the beak through and pick up the reward.
One bird is trained to pull the ball, and half the rooks are allowed to watch. When this group tries the puzzle, they all do the same thing and pull the ball. Meanwhile, the other half are watching a bird trained to use the other solution, to push the ball. And when these birds try the puzzle, they repeat what they saw. They push the ball. This suggests these rooks learned how to solve the puzzle by watching another bird. This is called social learning, and it's considered very high-level thinking. It's certainly more advanced than an imprinted behavior. It's also much more advanced than a behavior that you learn by individual trial and error. In this case, you're having to watch others perform a behavior and then replicate that.
It's new and it's exciting because it's something we've known in other species, like in primates, for example. Nobody would have guessed about the rooks or the crows or the ravens. Nobody would have been able to say, yes, I expect them to be able to do that. We had no idea.
Social learning in crows and parrots could be a result of their larger brains. But what about birds with smaller brains, like geese. In the same place that Konrad Lorenz studied his geese, Isabella Scheiber of the University of Vienna is exploring whether there's more to the goose mind than basic instinct. Geese live in a clear social hierarchy. And this experiment tests whether their natural pecking order helps them figure out other relationships. Isabella arranges 7 cards in a row and assigns a value to each one, blue being the highest and black the lowest. The geese don't see the complete row. They only see one pair at a time. In the experiment, green is higher than yellow, so under the green card is a treat. And the goose learns this pair. But yellow is higher than purple, so on the next round, the reward is under the yellow card. Now he's been taught that green is higher than yellow, and that yellow, in turn, is higher than purple. Next, purple is higher than red, so now purple has the treat. And so on down the row. Once the geese have learned the relative value of all the cards, the next stage is to see if they can apply this knowledge to a harder challenge. They're shown an entirely new set of pairs with no food rewards. Over and over, the geese choose the higher value card, even though they never saw the entire row all at one time.
The ability to rank objects in a hierarchy it's a form of reasoning called inference, transitive inference. And it was formerly thought that only apes and very sophisticated animals could do this.
So knowing that card A is greater than card B, and that card B is greater than card C, you might be able to infer A is greater than C. Well, and these birds obviously did that.
When I flat out asked him, he manages 3. Again, I go back to the board of directors where your standard of lying is different than mine. I don't like to be lied to. Also, to move someone to a different position, that way all their
When they fly in formation, they appear to work together, whether it's intentional or not. When geese fly in formation, they gain aerodynamic benefits by riding the vortex of air off of each other's wingtips. There's a bit of extra lift there that they gain. So they do switch positions as they're flying and get some assist from the other individuals. So can birds actually cooperate to solve problems? Like geese, Kia parrots live in social groups with complex relationships. This experiment tests whether they can work together as a group. No one bird can lift the lid off the food box by itself. But if one bird sits on the other end of the seesaw, the lid rises and the rest get to feed. After a while, this Kia parrot hops off the seat, and another takes its place. Eventually, each bird gets to eat. That's a clear demonstration of cooperation, where some individuals are up there opening the lid and others are feeding, and then they switch off. They're using the social group to obtain their individual goals here. This feat of cooperation suggests that these birds may be communicating with each other in some way. This test was designed for a jackdaw named Dewey. But can a bird communicate with is hidden under one of 2 cups? Then Augusta gives Dewey a very subtle clue. With a pair of very unusual eyes at the correct cup. Dooley has to read Augusta's eye movements in order to choose the right one. The gaze experiments are interesting on several dimensions. One, they show that a bird is very attentive to the gaze of another animal, another species. In this case, that is bonded with the human. Dooley understands that Augusta's eye signals are directing her to the cup with food under it. She's able to grasp this form of communication. But she also seems to be demonstrating another cognitive ability. She appears to know there's food under the cup even though she can't see it. This is called object permanency. Object permanency is a concept that humans develop when they're 3 or 4 years old. They can understand that a hidden object is still there. And so for birds to be able to demonstrate this has been profound. Another way many birds plan ahead is that when they have more food than they can eat, they hide it and return to it later. Rumo does the same, as do most crows.
Many crows and many jays, which are also members of the crow family.
The reason being because Nate yelled at me. And for you guys to deny that, I can't understand that. So I think what you're misunderstanding is when you gave me that ADA thing about the lawyer, what do you mean by that? You said I have to submit something for my, I've been talking about ADA issues with you guys privately, and I'm saying, the residents are saying things. I've been communicating that information to you. And I can't understand why that concern for the residents isn't always automatic. So I'm a resident too. So in this closed session, all y'all denied that, and that's the problem, because that's what I'm saying. That makes it unsafe. Unsafe because of my nerve radiculopathy, which I know I don't like to show, but that was the goal, not to really make it a big deal because I can manage it, but I can't manage it if I get contradictions. The processing means something's not right. We've all been in that situation where you feel a little icky, right? So there's been too many of that, and you just said, I've had increased issues, and you mentioned ADA. So I've been doing that with you. So again, what are you talking about? Your lawyer needs some sort of submission, because that's not what ADA is. If you're trying to use that to implicate something about this, then I need to come out. And that's why I'm coming out right now. All right? So you guys do not understand disability. For you, Nate, to deny that, now I'm getting angry because my body's saying it doesn't like this. Why? Because it's not real, okay? You can't tell me that because I experienced that. You went off on me, and I'm convinced if you went off on me, a board member, have you gone off on others? And that makes it unsafe. Okay, now I feel safe. Why? Because we're not going to have a private conversation anymore. My body feels great. So Monday, I saw my doctor, and this is the thing. She noticed, because I knew, she said, oh, what's going on? I shared what was going on. She said, you should get on that video and you should face that because that is crap. So again, what should I be submitting to the lawyer? Because that's against HIPAA. And it seems like you're just throwing out words at me, and I have the sense that the next thing you're going to do is say it's an unreasonable accommodation. So I've already been giving you suggestions. It's up to you if you want to do it. It never has to be a legal thing. So is there a form that you guys use for ADA already created? Because what did you mean by that? I emailed you. I said, what does this mean? It's already been taken care of. I've been doing ADA with you. I informed you. I let you know what I needed. And now I'm getting a conversation that isn't real. So you mentioned documentation. So I have that tonight, and I would love to send it to show you what I'm talking about. I put all of the emails and all of the things together. So if we could go through them, that would be great. Because that's what I need done. Those answers done. Seal. Do you understand? So the first one would be the gym. That was when I first noticed a disconnect. Can I send that to you, Nate? Can you show people so that I'd have less struggle talking? Because speech is not cognitive. And you're not telling me I'm overwhelmed by the position here when I'm telling you there's no education for technology. I don't get email responses. I'm sorry. I thought for a while maybe you guys weren't catching up on this because some people aren't there as often. But I don't think that's it. So I would like to show that tonight because we could just end this now. And I don't think you understand, too, that the first step of this project was to see if this neighborhood cares about victims of violence. Well, I'm moving on from that. The answer is, okay, not really. Now I'm going to move on to this neighborhood care about disability. And I'm taking notes as we go because I've been monitoring this the entire time as I go through this, because this is the place of violence. Outside, inside, out, and everyone knows that. So that's it. You just have to share. I don't like to live in like darkness, and I don't feel good like telling people I don't know the answer to that and trying. And I've been saying to you, how am I supposed to direct this? They don't feel comfortable going to Nate, and I understand why. So when you guys sat there doing nothing, that's called bystander abuse. That's super traumatic. So I'm so glad for the efforts tonight. Again, this is not emotion. The effort tonight to say we'll work harder, but I'm very doubtful. I'd rather just have these answers done, and then that would be it, because we get an answer. You asked me to show you proof, and I'm just like, well, how am I supposed to do that? You're going to twist it around again. I don't understand what you're saying. You told me, you wrote me an email. I sent a screenshot of it. No response. So is that something you'd like to talk about tonight? Because yes, I feel fine now because I'm sharing. Do I feel safe? I feel safe now. I don't feel safe then. And you need to see why. Again, any questions you have for me, that's fine. Again, the conversation about what we just had, it kind of illustrates the whole thing. And I don't know, the attention or just don't see the big picture. But I've been telling you about what residents have been saying because I've been here since 2009. Okay, so coming down, I saw DeMar, and that's when I was like, oh, he's really young. And then I was like, it's been a couple years. You know, obviously things are different. And as we know, I was there the day Alexia T was, so I don't understand this because we asked for documentation. I was told as a board member I can get that, and we still haven't gotten it. And you don't back me up, Kevin. We talked about this first. I was only supposed to tell you. That's ADA, so that you can make the proper changes to address it. So I never have to feel this way. You did yell at me, Nate. I'm sorry that you don't think that, but for you to deny that is really upsetting. Actually, it's making me very uncomfortable. So I'll take a little note, and I'm just glad to share it. So my healthcare notes have been ongoing. So you talk about a specialist. I'm the specialist in trauma because I lived through it. That's what I'm saying. I can assist with so much stuff, and I basically ended it. That's why all those emails exist for you guys. Any topic that I share, you can come back and bounce back. One thing, nothing, except for the things that you choose to talk to me about are superficial things, or like not the things that obviously I'm asking for a reason to verify what you're saying. And then I get this sassy attitude. I say thank you to you for calling the bank even though you weren't able to talk to them, and you think that's sarcastic. I'm sorry, I can't punctuate sometimes. I don't know what you're talking about. That's what I mean. The atmosphere has been so strange. So I just forced myself to say, well, I'm not going to live like this. So I have the documentation that you've been asking me, that you just asked me in the closed meeting to keep. I just need answers to the questions because there's contradicting statements. So can we start with the gym? The gym's pretty good. Is that cool? Can I give it to Nate and then he can show, and then we can have a discussion and he can change it because it's been really bothersome. The gym is dirty, okay? He doesn't clean. I'm not telling you, I can show you. I can literally show you. So can I do that? And then we can go through these matters one by one. Who's speaking? Yeah, this was supposed to be private. No, it's just that I was given something that said your ADA accommodations, your processing must be too difficult for you, and I just found that to be super offensive to disability. I have a disability, which the board has known privately until tonight, but only because Nate yelled at me in a situation, the board denies it, and I've been struggling with it until Monday, the 2 days ago. So I've been documenting with my healthcare, and that's why I don't want to share too much, but some residents do know, and this is probably the best thing for me to get this stuff out. But that's it. It's the contradictions, and I'm having a hard time getting answers that make sense. I sent Nate a long email. Yeah, this is an example of sort of an ADA accommodation to say, I can show you what I'm looking at so I don't have to continually explain it, and then we can just make a decision. You know, it's really simple. That's why I'm saying the gym thing. If anyone goes to the gym, have you guys noticed the signs? I don't know. It says cleaning and they don't clean. And then there's a sentence that runs off into nothing. So just that kind of stuff, like it's inaccurate. So I'm in the gym and I'm realizing they don't clean. So, and then people aren't wearing masks. I'm looking at the tickets. So then I stopped going to the gym. But the gym was a way to, just get down there, get out, and it can't do anymore. So I'm like, no access to the gym. But also the cleaning. There's 2 signs or 3 signs that say 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. And I don't know about the 8 a.m., but definitely not 2 p.m. I've made appointments. I mean, I've been in the gym and I've looked at the crap. I've cleaned it myself. And then I asked Jacob to do it like in, who knows, December. Yeah, and the other thing with Jacob, there's something with Jacob as well. So the new business is to say that I would like to get these matters taken care of fast, and this is the fastest way to do it because I'm identifying where the extra stress is. And again, if we're going to deny what happened with me, Nate, when you were yelling at me about it's just insane. I can't even describe it, but basically I just wanted some verification that the hiring process was authentic, and I can't get that, and now it's actually missing from my email. Maybe that's a mistake technologically, but I still have it, but I have it somewhere else. But that kind of stuff is strange because that's the only question, and that was the thing Nate was yelling at me about. So I don't think it's fine, because I was there, to let him not answer a question by yelling at someone. And for you to deny it now, that makes me really unsafe. And that's why I'm saying I want my ADA to come out so that it's simpler, and then we just deal with this, because there's contradictions. I don't want to be like, I just want to show it to you so then you can answer, because it's your words. Get it? Your words, not mine. I'm just saying, well, you're saying one thing and you're saying another. So explain it. But I don't want to do it privately anymore because you guys yell at me and you're very rude. And again, thank you for acknowledging you got to work better, but I don't know how you're going to do that when you're in the same breath not listening to what I'm saying. You guys were there. Did you not hear what just happened? And that's why I'm like, closed session, that was fun. Jeez. So can I show you the gym one? I have to email it to Nate, right? Can do what? A service request? No. First of all. So you're not going to allow me to show. No, it's not about cleaning. It's about, there's been a sign up since, it's just everything's a little off. Everything's a little off. I have been told one thing by Margot and one thing by Nate. So would we like to have that discussion? Why don't we just forget the gym? Go look in the sign yourself, and I can show you that I have been in the gym during that 2 o'clock client. And I can use my eyes and I can see, and I've read tickets that said the gym is filthy. So I'm like, oh, I agree. Let's get them cleaning. And I remember a resident mentioning that they were ashamed of living where they are because it's dirty. That's like horrible. So I have to validate it. I can't deny it, and I don't like doing that to people. So I would like it to be accurate. And Jacob, what are his roles exactly as a cleaning crew? Because I see him kind of helping Joe a lot, and he was breaking down boxes. So he works 6 hours a day. What are his tasks? Seems like he vacuums and then helps Joe, right? So I have that too. I don't want to talk about it. I'd rather just show you and we can discuss it, if that's okay. And that would be a great way to assist me, because then we don't have to do this back and forth after the board meeting. I don't have to write you once a week, limiting my questions. That's fine. I will write you once a month as long as we can get this done, and I don't have to wonder and then have this uncomfortable feeling, because I live in the building that Nate is in. Okay, and the shades, that's the problem. He could be in there, he couldn't be in there. If you don't remember him yelling at me, then I'm a little confused, okay? So that's a problem. And why, you didn't reprimand him? There was nothing? It feels like crap. I'm sorry, you don't remember that? Maybe we were on Zoom and you weren't paying attention, but it was uncomfortable. And it went on and on and on. I asked one question. And again, I don't think that's appropriate behavior to reinforce that you don't get to ask. He doesn't have to ask a question. That is so obviously something that is there. So I will go back and check my email to make sure it's there, but I don't know what happened to it, but that's the only thing I care about, because I was in the interviews. My body was hurting. It was a long night, and it just felt like it was off. So Maybe we should just go to your email, Kevin, where you said there was no special meeting. You never suggested it. You keep harping me about show you the proof and you can explain it. Well, I don't have to explain it. You wrote it to me. So do you want me to show you and we can explain it now, or is this something you want me to send you privately and you'll have the discussion with me? Either way, I don't understand how you can have two contradicting statements, okay? And if you don't remember, then that's fine. Well, I have it on, I can show you, and that's what I'd like to do. But if you don't want to do that, then okay. Then I guess we'll just go on the same way. That's why I'm saying, like, with the gym is pretty basic, but if we want to move on from there, it's not a big deal. The gym one. Okay, yes, absolutely. Hold on. I'm kind of ready. I have them organized, but I just have to put the folder. Oh my gosh. Sorry, this is when I get a little technologically slower. It's just a processing thing. Okay. Oh, good. Well, thank you for letting me do that. Compose. And the biggest one, quite frankly, I'm glad you're here, Margot, because it's very confusing. It's a beast. Well, hopefully I can show it. Okay, Nate, I'm not gonna put a subject in, if you don't mind. Whew, sorry. It's the sensory, and I'm comfortable with it. I feel great. Again, when you wanna let me know what I'm supposed to send to your lawyer, I don't understand that still. So I'm asking the question when I'm confused. I asked you in the email, you can write it to me, or is that was just something you wanted to say I have to identify my disability, which I already did. Look, and I don't think it is one, quite frankly. I did. Did you get it, Nate? It's a picture. It's pretty big. Yes. But as an ADA, I already established my disability privately with you. I shared with the board. You're the only one that reached out, which I appreciate. We chit-chatted for a bit, and we were good. You told, I'm not going to get into it, but I thought you had my back, and then all of a sudden, Alexia gets fired, and all of a sudden, I can't do it anymore. You did for a while, a bit, and then once they wouldn't respond, it just was like, okay, give up. And I don't like to give up because I don't like this feeling of not understanding, like you want to say, the disconnect with just doing this. That's why I'm comfortable now. I was a school teacher, so I want the parties to get together, the residents and the board, to then discuss their issues like that, because I'm just saying the feeling of disconnect is so strong, it makes me want to connect more, like hardcore. You know what I mean? It's just not in me. It's just not who I am. Okay, well, that's fine. I'm saying there's a disconnect. I mailed it 2 minutes ago. Just show them. It's not a big deal. But that's what I mean. It's not accurate. And I think I verbally said it, and maybe when I first started being on the board, I'm like, hey, guys, but you know what? It doesn't matter. There's no response. And I'm the only one that uses the gym, so I put that as, well, I'm the only one in the gym. People don't think about things unless it's for them. And I put it away. It's fine. Hey. And again, these are not big deals to me, but when there's so many, that's when it's like overwhelming. Part of me coming down to your office with my keys, I have my keys. I mean, I found them. I did not have them, but I did not lock my door. Was to see the area so that tonight, when I see that, I'm not triggering visually, because this is trauma. It's sensory, and I'm an expert in it. I know everything. So you can ask me anything. It's fine. And I'm waiting for questions, and they just didn't come. And it's fine. It took me a long time to get comfortable. I shared that with you, Kevin. People called me autistic and a retard. Believe me, it's not a big deal. It's not about me. No, I didn't say you. I said others. I shared with you that the stigmatization of it has been so intense that if I have an issue with it, that's my issue, because I'm not in a disabled sense at all compared to true disability. So, and I understand that's perspective, and I'm okay with that. But again, do we have it on the screen yet? Because I'm done talking about it. Just change it. Yes! Yes! That was the point. I mailed it to you. And I have another thing, because I gave a survey out, and I asked you, do you guys want the results of the survey? And nobody did. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think all residents are getting email, because they've responded that half of them did not get the email that was meant for everyone about that Seward Park Committee. Part of my recovery is I document everything in terms of what I do, and the goal was to get out of my house and get involved with people and practice talking. And that's why I'm kind of grateful for the whole experience. I just wish we were a bit more got each other's back. That's all. I would really love that. So do you see what I mean? And I'm in the gym too, so I visually saw it. I know. So on the thing, yeah, on the screen it says it clean at 2 and 8:30 a.m. I'm in the gym at 2, and I noticed when I was going every day that this is part of the dampening again. That's, you know, getting out of my house, being safe, and whatever. But I was going a lot, obviously. So it's just they don't clean. And then when somebody said a ticket that the gym was filthy, then I was like, oh yeah, it is filthy. And I thought, maybe I should say something. And I thought, I don't know, it doesn't bother, I mean, the cleanliness is a bother, but then the sign saying they clean was more of a bothersome, you know? And then I realized, I've been in the gym during the clean hours. One time I asked Jacob to clean, and that's what I'm saying. What is he doing for 6 hours? We're paying him $28, or his company, $28 an hour, and I'm watching him break down boxes and not clean. I thought he was the cleaning crew, right? I mean, what are his tasks? You have a breakdown of what he's supposed to do every day for 6 hours? Because I see and hear him vacuuming. That's why I notice how often he doesn't have a mask on. I mean, he vacuums a lot, which is great, but I've seen him break down boxes, help with trash, and I thought he was supposed to be cleaning. And I asked him to clean the gym in October, and it felt okay, but he was fine. But I also felt like, but you have a schedule up here. I just don't understand. So, could we correct it? Does Jacob have a schedule, I guess? 6 hours a day of vacuuming? How do they clean the gym? There's grime. There was grime and dust. I started looking when I saw the ticket. I'm like, oh my gosh. Because that's it's like black. I'm serious, black. So they're not cleaning, or they're not cleaning well. And then at 2 o'clock, they're not cleaning. Shouldn't they be cleaning at 2 to 2:30? I've been in the gym. He one time came in, it doesn't matter. He came at a different time. He walked out, it was fine. But he's not there at that time. Why do I have to do a ticket? There's a schedule. Why do I have to do it? Why do I have to set a ticket? Clean, clean, clean. I'd be saying one every day. I'm just saying there's a sign. I have to send one every day to clean when there's a schedule? For reals? It's not. Why isn't he getting direction to clean at 8:30 and 2? And then has a schedule on those 3 days a week or whatever. And then who cleans on the other time because it says every day on the sign. Again, I don't care if it's that exact, but there's so much building up, like, then it starts to bother me. Sorry. That's censoring. So, okay, I don't go to the gym every day, but I guess every time I go and it's dirty, I will send a ticket. Are you going to do anything about the sign because he's not in there? But what about the sign? No? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Is that cool? Should we go with the contract? Because I was told by Margot, no contract by Nate, but Nate himself said he was contractually something bounded. Well, I can send it then. Would you like me to send it? I'm saying it's the same exact thing. I'm showing you what the issues are. So I have another issue, and this would be best to deal with in a public setting, because then I don't get the excuses or the non-answer or the snarkiness, which again, I don't think I'm sensitive to. I'm just like, God, so unnecessary, and I didn't do anything. I'm just asking questions and showing you things that are contradictory, and I was doing it privately for a long time until Nate yelled at me, and that's unfortunate. Because again, it's not about Nate so much, it was about the board in that moment, and now it's the board again in the closed session moment. So that's unacceptable. I'm not saying I feel bullied, I'm fine, but I think about those people that can't speak up for themselves, and I don't feel good about this. So it's if I had to write a review about this, I mean, I've got a lot of stuff. It would be pretty upsetting, and that's why I'm saying let's change. Let's change. So can I send this to you about the contract? I'll send it to you, Nate. Hold on. I mean, we don't have to keep talking about it if you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I'll just send all of them as long as he can do it. But okay, so assess your understanding. What are you having difficulty with? Understanding what I'm saying. Nate's contract, because he mentioned his contract, and then I asked about the contract. You need the what? It doesn't matter. He says he has one, and someone told me that he didn't. So that's just contradiction. I don't care if there's a contract or not. And the whole reason is because he has other properties, and he's supposed to be in the office. So do you use our office supplies or something? I mean, I don't understand how you can be there for that long and then have all these other things. So you think you can answer one question, then another question, then another question, but they don't work together. So you can't just answer the question in the moment, and that's what I hate the worst. That's why I'm saying, this is so obvious. In my opinion, and maybe it's not obvious enough, so that's why I created this, so that we could now understand it. And this, actually, everything's kind of coming down now, so I have to say thank you again. Hang on, my attachment button's not working. What? Hang on, I have to look for it. Yes. I don't care what it is. I just don't like the contradictions. That's all. Again, I don't care. Yes? Yeah, that he has a contract. Oh, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Well, we can look what Margot said. She said that he's an at-will employee, because I just asked for the contract, because I think if he is taking time from Parkside, then why don't you send me the contract if it's a contract? He said contract, because I wanted to see what he's contractually bound. I know. I just want to see how you guys were going to respond. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm just saying. I keep asking. You could have told me that in an email back. That's all. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm doing this. Thank you for the answer. Thanks for the answer. Can you please share that with everyone? Because I want to verify that this is what they're saying is true, and I trust the people who are here to be able to do that. That's all. Okay? That's all. I don't mean to be negative about it, but this has gotten to this point for a reason. It didn't have to go this point. I think the thing that really brought it up was, like I said, the ADA thing. Because I said, yeah, let's do it. That's fine. Okay, I'll make some more suggestions, I guess. But this is working pretty well, I guess. So now you can give me instruction with what to do. Now I know I can do a ticket to clean the gym. All right, and that sign, I guess, won't bother me because I talked about it. But just little things, but they add up. You could just respond. So maybe in the future you could just respond, okay? That was the thing. It makes it worse, and that's why I'm saying it'll be much better now because I figured out a way to get a response from you guys. So this is great. Actually, I'll make a note of that. So this could be an effective ADA. Should we go to the next one? Because I have a lot. I mean, we don't have to do it tonight, but I have. Oh yes, that's what I asked before. Go ahead. Oh, I think someone is interested for the position too. So there is somebody interested. So you know. No, I'm not.
He went by here one day.
The fire truck?
Yeah, hauling ass.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
now,
the
he
fire.
wasn't hauling ass there. He was moving, but he went through here twice as fast.
Okay.
Did you get that one, Nate? About Jacob and Joe and the contractor? Because they all have the same last name, right? They're related. So I sent you a lot of questions. I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was done.
So,
I just was looking at my email.
Sorry.